My brothers and sisters, listen to me closely. Life is not a dress rehearsal. This moment, this very breath, is the stage of your becoming. Too many of us give our precious time away to people, to things, to fears that do not grow us. And then we wonder why we feel so small inside. Hear me today. If you want to rise, if you want to shine, you must learn the sacred art of focusing on yourself. Because when you waste time, you waste life. And life, my dear ones, is far too rare, far too beautiful to be thrown away. My dear friends, time is not a toy. Time is a treasure, more valuable than gold, more precious than diamonds, more rare than the rarest pearl. Yet how often do we spend it as if it were endless? How often do we give it away to gossip, to doubt, to fear, to people who neither honor us nor help us grow? Hear me when I tell you this: every second that passes is a piece of your destiny. Every tick of the clock is an opportunity to step into your greatness or to walk further away from it. When you let time slip through your fingers, you are not simply losing a moment. You are losing a chance to create, to love, to grow, to live. I want you to imagine your life as a garden. Time is the water. If you waste it on weeds, the roses will wither. If you pour it into shallow ground, it will vanish into the dust. But if you guard it, if you place it carefully where it belongs, the flowers of your life will bloom so beautifully that the world cannot help but notice. Too many of us, my brothers and sisters, spend our days waiting for tomorrow. We say, when I have more money, I will start. We say, when I feel stronger, I will try. We say, when I am ready, I will live. But tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is a rumor. The only certainty you have is this very breath, this very heartbeat, this very moment. Guard your time as you would guard your child. Protect it from thieves. And make no mistake, there are thieves everywhere. Some come disguised as friendships, some as distractions, some as endless scrolling and empty chatter. These thieves do not come with masks and weapons. They come with invitations and excuses. And before you know it, hours have passed, days have gone, and your dreams have grown dusty in the corner. Do not let the thief of wasted time rob you of your destiny. Stand firm and say, this is my life, this is my moment, and I will use it well. Because time is not coming back. You cannot return yesterday. You cannot hold on to last year, but you can take this moment and pour yourself into it with all the strength and courage you have. Guard your time, and it will guard your future. Guard your time, and it will protect your dreams. Guard your time, and you will find that life is not slipping through your hands, but being shaped moment by moment into something extraordinary. My beloved ones, not every voice that calls your name deserves an answer. Not every opinion that comes your way is meant to live inside your heart. You must learn, with courage and with wisdom, to silence the noise of others. Because if you allow too many voices to shape you, you will no longer hear your own. You will find yourself pulled this way and that way, trying to please the world, and in the end you will discover that you have displeased the most important person of all, yourself. Think of it like this: your soul is a house. If you open every window and every door to anyone who passes by, soon you will find strangers walking through your kitchen, muddy footprints on your floor, and noise so loud you cannot even rest in your own bed. Some people will come into your life only to scatter your peace. They will bring gossip, doubt, and fear, and they will leave you weaker than before. But others Others will come like sunlight through the window, warming you, strengthening you, helping you to grow. You must learn to tell the difference. The world is full of opinions. Some will say you are too much. Others will say you are not enough. Some will tell you that your dreams are impossible, that your vision is foolish, that your steps are too bold. But remember, the same world that doubted the eagle said, "You cannot fly." The same world that questioned the oak said, "You are only a seed." And yet, the eagle soared and the oak stood tall. So, I tell you now, silence the voices that try to shrink you and listen for the voice that pushes you forward. I want you to hear me clearly. You do not need everyone to understand you. You do not need everyone to applaud you. You do not even need everyone to like you. What you need is the courage to stand in your truth, even if your voice shakes, even if your knees tremble. Because when you stop chasing the approval of the crowd, you start hearing the approval of your own soul. And that sound, that music, will carry you further than any applause ever could. When you silence the noise of others, you give birth to your own song. You begin to trust your own rhythm, your own wisdom, your own vision. And in that quiet place, in that sacred stillness, you will finally hear the sound of your destiny calling your name. Answer that call, and let the rest of the noise fade into silence. My dear friends, the mind and the spirit are like gardens, and if you do not tend to them daily, weeds will grow. If you do not feed them, they will starve. If you do not pour into them what is nourishing, they will wither and leave you empty. Too many of us spend our days feeding only the body, food on the plate, clothes on the back, a roof over the head, and we forget that the soul needs its meal, the mind needs its water, the spirit needs its light. Without that, we may look alive on the outside, but inside we are fading, hungry and tired. You must feed your mind and spirit with intention. Read words that lift you. Sit in silence that strengthens you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow, not those who keep you small. Every day, my beloved ones, take even a few minutes to fill yourself with something that makes you better. A page of a book that stirs your thinking. A prayer that reminds you who you are. A reflection that makes you grateful for what you already have. These small acts are not wasted. They are seeds planted in the garden of your soul, and over time, they will bloom into wisdom, courage, and peace. Do not be careless about what you allow into your spirit. Every word you listen to, every story you watch, every thought you repeat to yourself becomes food for your inner self. If you feast on anger, on gossip, on doubt, then anger, gossip, and doubt will grow inside you. But if you feast on wisdom, on kindness, on truth, then wisdom, kindness, and truth will take root in you. Ask yourself every day, what am I feeding myself with? Is this helping me rise? Or is this weighing me down? Because what you consume in your mind will eventually shape your life. There will be days when you feel too tired to learn, too weary to reflect, too busy to pause. But those are the very days you need it most. A farmer does not stop watering his fields because he feels tired. He knows that if he neglects his land, the harvest will not come. In the same way, you cannot afford to neglect your mind and spirit. They are the soil where your destiny grows. And remember this, feeding your spirit is not only about study or prayer. Sometimes it is a walk in nature where the trees remind you of strength. Sometimes it is music that touches the places words cannot reach. Sometimes it is the laughter of a child that returns you to innocence. Sometimes it is your own breath, steady and alive, reminding you that you are still here, still capable, still becoming. So I tell you today, do not let a single day pass without giving something to your inner self. Feed your mind with knowledge. Feed your heart with gratitude. Feed your soul with hope. And when you do, you will find that life does not simply happen to you. You grow strong enough to shape it, wise enough to guide it, and full enough to give from the overflow of your spirit. My brothers and sisters, one of the greatest prisons we place ourselves in is the cage of other people's approval. We live like birds with wings, yet we chain ourselves to the ground because we are waiting for someone else to say, "Yes, you may fly, but hear me now, your worth is not in the clapping of their hands, nor in the nodding of their heads. Your worth was sealed the moment you took your first breath. You were enough then, you are enough now, and you will be enough tomorrow." Too many of us bend our backs to carry the weight of other people's opinions. We dress for them, we speak for them, we walk for them, we dream for them, and then we wake up one day and realize we do not even recognize the person in the mirror. We have spent our lives auditioning for a role in someone else's play, and in doing so, we have abandoned our own script. But the truth is this: no applause in the world can fill the silence of a soul that has betrayed itself. Approval is a hungry beast. It will never be satisfied. Today they may clap for you, but tomorrow they may laugh at you. Today they may praise your courage, but tomorrow they may condemn the same boldness that made you rise. If you live for their approval, you will die 1,000 deaths from their rejection. But if you live from the truth of your own soul, you will stand unshaken whether the crowd cheers or whether it turns its back. Do not misunderstand me. Love is beautiful, encouragement is powerful, support is needed. But they must be gifts, not chains. You cannot hang the weight of your identity on the fragile thread of someone else's opinion. Their opinion belongs to them. Your life belongs to you. What you believe about yourself, what you know about your journey, what you decide about your calling, that is the foundation you must stand on. When you stop seeking approval, you begin to hear the quiet strength of your own voice. You begin to move with the rhythm of your own heartbeat. You begin to trust the steps of your own path. You begin to live free. And let me tell you, freedom is the music your soul has been waiting to dance to. There is a joy that comes from being unapologetically yourself. There is a peace that comes from saying, "This is who I am, and that is enough." And there is a power that comes from walking into the world without masks, without apologies, without shrinking to fit the comfort of others. The world does not need you to be a copy of them. The world needs you to be the masterpiece you were created to be. So I say to you, stop begging for validation from those who cannot even see their own worth. Stop waiting for permission from those who have not yet given themselves permission to live. Stand tall, walk proud, and let the world adjust to your presence. If they clap, let it be music. If they do not, let it be silence. But either way, you keep walking because your destiny is not tied to their approval. Your destiny is tied to your courage to be fully, freely, gloriously yourself. My dear ones, every single one of us has known pain. Pain that knocks the wind out of your chest. Pain that leaves you staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning wondering if the sun will ever rise again. Pain that comes from betrayal, from loss, from failure, from being misunderstood, from carrying burdens too heavy for your shoulders. Some people will tell you to ignore it, to hide it, to pretend it never happened. But I tell you today, do not waste your pain. Do not let it sit inside you like a poison that eats away at your joy. Transform it, shape it, turn it into power that lifts you higher than you ever thought you could climb. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a teacher. Pain walks into the room carrying lessons that comfort never could. It whispers to you, this wound will scar, but the scar will remind you that you survived. It says, you have been knocked down, but you have not been destroyed. The very moments you thought would end you are the same moments that forged strength in your bones and courage in your spirit. You did not know how powerful you were until pain showed you what you could endure. Do not let your wounds go to waste. Some of the greatest art, some of the deepest wisdom, some of the strongest leaders this world has ever known were born out of pain. They took their suffering and turned it into a song. They took their tears and watered gardens of hope. They took their brokenness and built bridges for others to cross. You can do the same. Every disappointment, every heartbreak, every failure can either bury you or build you. The choice, my beloved, is yours. You cannot stop pain from coming, but you can decide what to do with it once it arrives. You can choose bitterness, or you can choose growth. You can let it close your heart, or you can let it expand your compassion. You can let it chain you down, or you can let it fuel your rise. When you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? You will discover that your pain has been preparing you all along for the power you are meant to carry. And hear me when I say this, turning pain into power does not mean you must never cry. It does not mean you must never fall. It does not mean you must walk around smiling while your heart aches. No. It means you honor your feelings, you face your truth, but you do not stay there. You take the hurt, the grief, the loss, and you press it like grapes until it becomes wine. You take the fire and let it purify you instead of consume you. Your story of pain can be the very light that guides someone else out of their darkness. Your scars can be the proof that healing is possible. Your resilience can be the testimony that power is not the absence of suffering, but the transformation of it. So do not curse your pain. Bless it. Use it. Let it carve you into someone stronger, wiser, kinder, and more unshakable than before. Because at the end of the day, the pain you endure will not define you. What will define you is the power you chose to create from it, the way you stood up again and said, this may have hurt me, but it will not have me. I am still here. I am still rising. I am still becoming. My beloved ones, we live in a world that celebrates the grand victories, the big announcements, the shining moments that make the crowd rise to its feet. But let me remind you today, greatness is not built only in the fireworks, it is built in the sparks. Success is not only in the mountaintop moment, it is in the small steps that carry you up the mountain one breath at a time. Celebrate those steps, no matter how small they may seem, for they are the very foundation upon which your dreams will stand. Think of a seed. It looks so tiny, so fragile, so ordinary in the palm of your hand. But inside that seed is the blueprint of a forest. Inside that seed is the strength of roots that will one day crack the earth open. Inside that seed is shade and fruit and beauty beyond measure. Yet if you only look at its smallness, you may despise it, you may overlook it, you may throw it away. Life is the same, my dear ones. Every small step you take, every quiet act of discipline, every choice to try again when it would be easier to quit, that is a seed. Celebrate it, honor it, nurture it, because in time it will become a harvest. Too many of us wait for the grand moment to rejoice. We say, when I get the promotion, I will be proud. When I buy the house, I will be grateful. When I reach the goal, I will be happy. But if you do not learn to honor the little steps, the little wins, the little moments, you will find yourself empty even when the big victories come. Joy is not only at the destination, joy is on the journey. Gratitude is not only for the final chapter, gratitude is for every line written along the way. When you celebrate small steps, you teach yourself patience. You remind yourself that progress takes time, that growth is often invisible before it is undeniable. You teach your heart to find strength in the climb and not just in the summit. You begin to see that discipline is not punishment but love for your own future. Every early morning you rise to work on your dream, every temptation you resist, every doubt you silence, every little push forward when no one is clapping for you, that is victory. And it deserves celebration. Do not despise humble beginnings. The greatest rivers begin as tiny streams. The tallest mountains rise from grains of sand. The strongest oak began as an acorn buried in the dark. And so it is with your life. Every humble effort is holy. Every small step is sacred. Every day that you choose growth over comfort, you are building a life of meaning. Clap for yourself when no one else does. Applaud the quiet work you do in secret, for it is the very soil where your greatness grows. Do not wait for the world to recognize you before you recognize yourself. Stand before the mirror and say, I am proud of the little I accomplished today, because little by little, I am becoming more. And I promise you this, when you honor the small steps, when you nurture them with gratitude and consistency, they will carry you further than you ever imagined. One day you will look back and realize that the climb was made not of leaps, but of steady, faithful steps. And you will be able to say with strength and with joy, I did not just arrive at greatness, I grew into it. My dear ones, there is a quiet truth that the world often forgets. Success is not born in the spotlight, it is born in the shadows. It is not crafted in the noise of distraction, but in the silence of discipline. Anyone can dream when the music is loud and the stage is bright. But true greatness belongs to those who choose to stay steady when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when no one even knows the effort being made. Discipline is the bridge that carries you from where you are to where you long to be. Distraction, however, is the thief that will keep you wandering in circles, always moving, but never arriving. Think of the sculptor. He does not carve a masterpiece in one strike. He returns to the stone again and again, chiseling a little more each day. Alone in his workshop, with no crowd to cheer, he chips away, patient and precise. One day the world gasps at the beauty of his creation, but they do not see the long nights, the sore hands, the countless hours of focus. They only see the result. That is how life works. Discipline is the unseen hand that builds your masterpiece, while distraction is the storm that scatters your tools and leaves your work unfinished. Discipline is not easy. It asks you to rise when you would rather sleep. It asks you to choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. It asks you to stay on the path when every glittering ditto calls your name. But discipline, my beloved, is love in action. It is love for your future self, love for your purpose, love for the vision you hold deep inside. Discipline says, I will not betray my destiny for the comfort of this moment. Distraction is subtle. It does not always come shouting. Often it comes whispering, a quick glance at your phone that turns into an hour, a harmless conversation that turns into gossip, a fear that says, you can't do this, and steals the time you should have spent trying. Distraction does not destroy you all at once. It eats away at you little by little until you look back and wonder where the years have gone. Be vigilant, for distraction wears many disguises, and if you do not guard your focus, it will rob you silently. But discipline, discipline is a gift. It may feel heavy at first, but over time it makes you light. It may feel strict at first, but over time it makes you free. For the one who is disciplined is not a prisoner of their moods or their whims. They are steady, unshaken, moving with purpose even when storms rage around them. Discipline is choosing to build when others are sleeping, choosing to rise when others are resting, choosing to persist when others are quitting. And let me tell you something beautiful. Discipline does not only shape results, it shapes character. It teaches you patience. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you that you are stronger than you think, more capable than you believed, and more faithful than you imagined. The muscles of the body are built through repetition, so too are the muscles of the spirit built through discipline. So I urge you, do not waste your life in distraction. Do not give away your precious hours to things that do not water your dreams. Walk in discipline, walk in focus. Walk with the determination of one who knows that greatness is not achieved by accident, but by steady, faithful labor. And when you feel tired, remember this: every step you take in discipline is a seed planted. It may not bloom today, it may not bloom tomorrow, but in time it will rise, and the harvest will be so abundant that even you will marvel at what has grown from your persistence. Stay faithful in discipline, resist the lure of distraction, and you will one day stand in the light of success, knowing that it was your quiet, consistent effort that carried you there. And in that moment, you will realize that the long nights, the sacrifices, the unseen labor were not wasted. They were the very road that led you to your destiny. My beloved ones, there is a truth that many of us have forgotten, and it is this: you were born to shine. You were born with a light inside you so brilliant, so rare, that no other human being on this earth can duplicate it. Yet too often, we dim that light. We hide it beneath fear, beneath doubt, beneath the heavy weight of comparison. We shrink so others can feel tall. We silence ourselves so others may speak louder. We bend our backs so others may walk more comfortably. But hear me now, your light is not a burden. Your light is a gift, and if you refuse to let it shine, the world will forever be missing something only you could give. The sun does not apologize for rising. The stars do not apologize for twinkling. The ocean does not apologize for roaring against the shore. They simply exist in the fullness of what they are, and in their fullness, they give life and beauty to the world. Why, then, do you apologize for your brilliance? Why do you hide your laughter, your wisdom, your vision, your gifts? You were not created to be invisible. You were created to be a lamp on a hill, a voice in the wilderness, a fire in the night. When you dim your light, you do not only rob yourself, you rob the world. There is someone who needs the song you carry, someone who needs the words you speak, someone who needs the example of your courage. There is a child watching you, learning from you how to stand tall. There is a stranger who will find hope because you chose to rise. There is a future generation that will walk in freedom because you refuse to bow to fear. Your light is not just for you, it is for all who are touched by your presence. Do not misunderstand. Shining your light is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is not about shouting, "Look at me." It is about saying, "Here I am. Here is what I was given. Here is what I can offer." It is about honoring the gifts placed in your hands and refusing to bury them in the ground. It is about standing tall in your truth without apology, without shame, without hesitation. There will be people who feel threatened by your light. They will try to cover it, to dim it, to convince you that you are too much, too bold, too different. But remember this, their discomfort is not your responsibility. You were not sent here to make everyone comfortable. You were sent here to live fully, to love deeply, to rise courageously, and to shine brilliantly. If your light exposes shadows, let it. If your light unsettles the darkness, so be it. That is the work of light, to reveal, to awaken, to guide. And shining your light does not mean you will never struggle. Even the brightest flame flickers in the wind. Even the sun hides behind clouds. But a flicker is still fire, and clouds cannot erase the sun. In the same way, your light may falter, but it will not be extinguished unless you let it. Keep fanning the flame of your soul with truth, with love, with courage, and it will continue to burn. So I say to you, stop shrinking, stop apologizing, stop waiting for permission to be who you are. Stand tall, speak boldly, love fiercely, live, unapologetically. Shine your light in every room you enter, on every path you walk, in every life you touch. Because the world does not need another copy of someone else. The world needs you. Your unique light, your unrepeatable brilliance, your one-of-a-kind song. And when you shine, truly shine, you give others permission to shine as well. You become a beacon, a reminder, a living testimony that it is possible to live free, that it is possible to be whole, that it is possible to rise, even after the world tried to keep you down. Your light is not only your freedom, it is the spark that may ignite the freedom of many. So lift your head, open your heart, and let the world see you as you are. Do not dim, do not hide, do not shrink. Shine, my dear ones, shining, and in your shining, you will discover that you were never meant to live small. You were meant to illuminate the world.